Happy Tuesday, Real Leader community. It is said that your habits will determine your future, and motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. Thank you for joining us for another Rare Live conversation today. I am Tony Jalen, joined by the wonderful, amazing Danielle. Hello, Danielle.
Hello, Tony.
And this month's theme is about improving and building on you, right? 2022 is going to be a banner year for a lot of people. 2021 turned out to be a pretty good year for a lot of people. This year, we're going to take it to another level, especially as someone who is part of the Rare Leader community. You know, the last few sessions we talked about, last session we talked about creating systems that will help you scale to enjoy more success. Today, we're talking about programming of habits. And the first question for all you guys who are watching here, did you create your systems? If you have, I hope you found them helpful. If you haven't, still need to do that. And if you need help with that, please reach out to us. And because today we're talking about programming your habits, because this is really important. Here's the good news, Danielle. You may or may not know this, but you can actually program yourself like a robot of sorts. I mean, well, not really, but you're able to really hardwire yourself for success. They say as humans, we are programmed to respond positively to rewards. Agree or disagree?
I think we are positively to rewards, but I think we're also programmed to negativity as well, in that giving us an opportunity, like we don't like something, so we find something else that we can do in response to that.
Right. You know, Habits are formed, and we know when we receive a reward, we do it again. They get the reward. Like social media has done a phenomenal job of it, especially if you have notifications on your phone. By the way, if you want to improve productivity, encourage you guys to take them off, except the one for the rare live conversation that happens every Tuesday at 12:01 p.m. But what it does is, we do something, it creates that dopamine reaction in our head, that feel good response that makes us want to do it again. For example, when you do a post, we get those likes, we get those comments. That's a reward. You do the habit, you get the reward. You eat chocolate because it tastes so good, right? Then you want more. Then you eat it, and suddenly you have that nasty chocolate addiction. But you can use this reward cycle to actually program amazing habits into yourself that will help you achieve your goals. And we're going to be talking about an action steps and how to do that here today. Um, Danielle, if you could think about some of your habits or systems that you made a habit of it, is there something that you do that's like a consistent habit that okay, I got to do this first before getting a reward?
I think for me over the last year, a big system and then habit created was the um, a 45-minute walk every day. I just My days don't feel complete if it's not the full 45 minutes. I had walked around the arena this weekend while we were at the volleyball tournament, and I'm like, it's only 30 minutes. Like, I just didn't feel right that I wasn't completing a full 45 minutes. So I went and found something else to do while I was doing that. And I think it's become such a part of me that, like, if I'm not doing that every day, my days are off.
Right. You know, I think a lot of people, whether you're watching us live on YouTube or on Twitter or on Facebook here, many of us know the great comedian Jerry Seinfeld. Seinfeld. One or two. And he was asked by a young comic how he could become better. And Seinfeld says, he advised the comic to write jokes every single day. And then he actually shared with him a system of how to write those jokes every day. Like for me, I have a system in the morning. In order for me to have my wonderful cup of bulletproof coffee, I must go through my gratitudes and my action plan and my reading and also some little exercises in the morning. That's like, I know if I do these things, I can go ahead and have my coffee. I also do those things as a way of saying, okay, I cannot check my email. It's so weird that email is a reward for me before I get these things done. What Jerry Seinfeld would do, he put one of those large calendars next to his desk, and each day he wrote a joke, he would put a big red X on that day. And then what he shared with the young comic, he said, after a few days, you'll have a chain. And you just keep at it, and the chain will grow longer every day because you like seeing that chain, especially when you get a few weeks underneath your belt. Now your job is not to break the chain. This reminds me of the year in which we did the 100 push-up challenge as a family. Remember that?
Yep.
We had a calendar, and it was Danielle had her name, Ezekiel had his name on there, and we each had, I don't know, I can't remember if we each had a color for ourselves. And you got an X when you got done with your 100 push-ups for the day. 100 push-ups, 100 or 50 steps was it? 50 squats, something like that. And it was like a competition of who was gonna get the X. And then after a while, like you did not want to break the chain. I remember there was times when I was doing push-ups at like midnight, and I learned the wisest thing to just get them done right away in the morning, first thing. So that's a habit with a system that will help you achieve your goals. And for those of you guys who are watching, you could do something like this similar. You can actually create habits that will allow you to fulfill your systems, which will allow you to reach your goals. Another example would be is that each morning I also have to have 30 ounces of water. I also jump on the scale each morning and take a photo of myself every morning because I have a goal for a fitness goal that I want to be at. So let's just go ahead and just role play a little bit here, Danielle. What are some habits that you want to program into yourself? And folks, for those of you guys who are watching, this should be something that's related to the systems that you created from last week. So if you haven't created a system yet, go back to last week's real life conversation and check out what you need to do in order to do that.
For me, I think now is to get back into the habit of running. And I think that starts first probably to set a goal mile, like an amount of goals that I want to, goal miles I want to hit each week.
Hmm.
And so I think then that can break down into a daily habit and then making that a system part of my workout routine each day, if I'm running every day. And that also would need to decide if it's a daily run or an every other day run. But to just look at that and then make that a habit, and how do I reward myself with that may possibly be a pedicure, just because of my feet and they sometimes get cold and scratchy. So I think that may be more of a reward for you than it is for me, but um, to look at something like that, like as what a reward would be.
What could be an immediate reward you can get immediately after doing the run?
Well, immediate reward in the past would have been probably the peanut butter patty Girl Scout cookies, because this is usually the time when that habit of running would be a big push because I do a May marathon. So it would have to be something that I'm trying to figure out like what it would be to replace that, because as you know, like you talked about the nasty chocolate addiction, that is something that is programmed into my brain related to running.
True story. So like for those of you guys who are watching, remember, write down this formula: habits to systems to goals, right? Habits to systems to goals. So think about something that you can do immediately after getting that little, like Seinfeld. He put a big X on his calendar when he wrote. Huh?
I have a little count, like I have a little spreadsheet that I do. So obviously there my X can be that I marked it off. As well as just making like even just a sweet kind of shake that I would look forward to have right afterwards.
Okay. Because that's where we're like animals. We need that reward, right? Um, for those of you guys who are watching, like, what habits do you want to program into yourself? Again, they should be related to the systems that you created for yourself as well. So let's say your habit is to write 500 words every morning at 6:30 a.m. Now this is a key point. Like it should be a time in which you do it all the time as well. You could use this calendar like Seinfeld did, or you can reward yourself with something completely different, like a nice hot shower afterwards. And so what it does then is after some time of doing this, you actually automatically associate the pleasure of the shower with the work of writing. And again, it could be, you write, you do 20-minute walk. It could be that, you want to work out. You cannot watch your favorite shows on Netflix until you get that done. Because we're
Or
more
until
video,
you're doing your walk.
huh?
Or until you're doing your walk.
Oh, until you're doing your walk. There. What are you telling me, Danielle? You watch Netflix shows while you walk.
Sometimes.
Sometimes they go faster.
Yep.
So think about that. For me, I have an app called the Gratitude app, right? Because gratitude is an important practice for me to practice on a daily basis. So every time I get done with my writings, a quote comes up, and I want to see what the quote is for the day. I know this seems very small. Um, doesn't seem like a big deal, but it doesn't have to be a big deal. Because again, a change in habits, especially bad habits, lead to a change in life. So, what would be another goal besides your marathon that you want to achieve? That you got to put a system in place, but you want to develop a habit that also has to have a reward with it.
I think it's like a weird goal. Not everybody would probably have it, but making a meal, like a dinner, every single day, um, for our family instead of like kind of scrambling to put something together. Like, because I still struggle with not struggling to put a meal together for us. And so for me, like to have like a meal ready, I know you're not here, but like for Ezekiel, like his day starts at 7:20. He's having lunch at 10:15 every day. And so by the time he gets home at 3 o'clock, it's like teenage monster walks in the
This is
house,
true
like
story, everyone. He's looking
starving.
for food.
And so like, and it just it's programming my mind to not have such strict times on breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like we get so stuck on like our dinner time has to be at 5 or 6. Like to like break that thought pattern of like, well, I don't have to make anything for dinner till like 5 or 6, but really dinner should be ready at 3 o'clock.
Hmm.
So I think for me that's like a big goal for myself to make sure that we're doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know what my reward would be other than maybe just a hug, then walking in.
Hey, right? Well, you gotta make sure to remind us that that's the reward you want in case I run away. For me, I'm developing a leadership app, so to speak, for us, and so it's been there, and I think I just need to simply spend 30 minutes a day working on it. 15, 30 minutes a day to work on it. Um, which I've got all the material done, is just going and organize it and all. So I think a reward for me hmm, could be that I cannot go on LinkedIn until I've invested at least some time each and every day on that. There you go. Did you guys all notice when I was like saying this, I was getting a little bit uncomfortable? I don't know why, because I just like being engaged as part of my marketing plan. So that's me, And the other thing for me is, the working out thing. To drink, I'm working on drinking a gallon of water each and every day. So my reward for that is simply being able to click off my reminders that I did that, because I don't like having like reminders go up. There's some great resources in which you guys can look at in terms of creating these habits. There's a book called Atomic Habits that goes into all the science around habit. There was the book called The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I remember when I was first reading that when I was a 17-year-old. There's a word called paradigm in it. I call it paradigm. I had no idea what it meant. But I think too also to remember that, you know, we first make our habits and then our habits make us. And then, if you have children, that good habits formed at youth make all the difference for them down the road. So, what are some ways that because we all have, there's good habits that serve us, and also there's habits that don't serve us well. What would you say, was there a habit that wasn't serving you well, um, that you recognized it and you're like, okay, I got to break this, yet you still found a reward to break you from that habit?
I think a lot because I'm home all day, like sometimes it's easy to get drawn into like just sitting around and like what's on social media and like scrolling through that, and all of a sudden like 2 hours has passed and it's like, oh, I'm still just sitting around like not doing anything. I think that changing, like recognizing it for one, that it was taking like that much time of my day. Like it could have been 2 hours that I was spending at the grocery store picking up groceries to have that meal ready. So like recognizing like, what am I really spending my daytime hours doing that's like hindering me. And so that was a big thing to kind of just like, I know like it's go 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 go, and then all of a sudden like we kind of have a lull in our time of where we're running around. So just really recognizing that for me was big, in seeing like what else can I be doing in this time, like how many loads of laundry have I been able to get done in that amount of time now, like, and setting little goals like, what can I get done, and just seeing like how quickly these things can get done in the house in an effective manner. So
Yeah, that's good. Like for one of me, my things was checking email like multiple times and not taking any action on the email. And so one of the things I have done and even gotten more consistent with it is I actually have scheduled time for emails, and also I put my vision board on my phone. And so it's like that reminder, like, oh yeah, like I'm about to do something just to do something, right? They say the average person touches their phone 400 times a day. And now I look, I'm like, oh, gotta get back to plan. Gotta get back to plan. Gotta get back to plan. And so another thing I did in terms of not being on my phone as much is, if you have an iPhone, like you Droid users, I can't really like help you out with this, but there's probably something that can. There is in your settings, some of you guys may or may not know this. It is called screen time. Screen time. And so you can actually put limits for each of your apps which you use. And I look at this pretty consistently. And the coolest thing is that, like, the week before last week, because I think it was probably because I was off vacation and look at it, my screen time was up a lot. And since I put my vision board on my phone, from 2 weeks ago to last week, I'm actually down now 48% for time spent on phone. So if that doesn't tell you it works or not, or I was just way too much on my phone, I don't know what else could. So on a piece of paper, for those of you guys who are watching live, and you guys, thank you for joining us, by the way, write down the one habit, just one habit that you'll create and the reward you will receive. You could be like Jerry Seinfeld, that puts an X. Danielle wants to do pedicures. I don't know if you want to do a pedicure every day. um, whatever that may be. Because on next week's session, we're going to be talking about the power of planning your days for maximum productivity. And that'll be our final session of the month. And then next month, we'll be talking about uh, relationships and appreciation. Because It's the love month. February is. So as we finish up here, Danielle, what would you say are some final thoughts when it comes to programming your habits?
Really just being like taking an inventory of your day and like really seeing what your days consist of. And our days consist of many habits, which we realize or not. And so just really taking an inventory of what those daily activities are that we're doing and really seeing, are they serving us to help us get closer to our goal? Or are they a disservice to us? And what can we change about them to help us get to our goals?
There you go. And some final thoughts when it comes to habits here. It takes 3 weeks to break a habit, 6 weeks to develop a new habit, and 36 weeks to hardwire this new habit. So remind you, like, this is not a sprint, it is a marathon. Just start with one. What's one habit you can do and then attach a reward to it? Again, if you found value in it, feel free to share this. There's a Rare Leaders YouTube channel as well as on my personal Twitter. Or if you would like to invite other people into the Rare Leaders Facebook group, please make sure to send them an invite. Share the link with them. We will be launching a Rare Mastermind as well, so be on the lookout for that. Until next week, this is short and quick, on to the point. Onward and upwards. Thanks, everybody.